Yo, 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 what is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Jamal Pope, aka J Phoenix. This is going to be your astrology forecast for Tuesday, March 12th of 2024. Thanks so much for joining me in this video. Hopefully, you guys are having a wonderful start to your week. Finally off today after 6 days straight. And I might have slept in a little bit, but I'm here going to get this video out, and I do have plans for another video to drop, not a daily forecast but something else, so I'll be on the lookout for that. But in any event, let's go ahead and hop into these astrological transits for today so we can see how you can be better prepared to navigate these celestial energies. I'm going to go ahead and pull up that calendar, and as you can see, pretty much throughout the week it's like a lot of building energy, and then the moon essentially is going to be making aspects. It's going to enter into Taurus, of course, conjunct Jupiter. It's going to conjunct Uranus. Then the moon will enter into Gemini, and like I said, it's going to be building energy up to that first quarter moon. This is also going to be on the same day that the sun conjuncts Neptune. So we're going to have back-to-back pretty interesting Sundays. So I think that's actually interesting. Of course, then we have the moon enter into Cancer too. So this week seemingly is going to be a little bit more on the chill side, but we'll of course cover things day by day, and we'll see that every single day has its potency somewhere. So let's go ahead and bring up the chart itself for you guys. All right, cool. So as you can see, as the current moment, we do, of course, have that moon here in Aries. It will be finishing up in Aries today. We do have the sun within 5 degrees of that Neptune, right? So we have some building energy that's becoming closer now. And of course, we do have Mercury, which is freshly ingressed into Aries, and Venus, which moved into Pisces yesterday. So we're going to see, of course, that moon is going to shift into Taurus. This is going to be a little bit later on in the day, later on in the evening. So pretty much we spend most of the day with the moon in that last decan of Aries. And then, of course, by that time that happens, Venus does shift to 1 degree and Mercury shifts to 5 degrees. So I feel like this Tuesday, it does provide a bit of a spark, a bit of energy, of course, with that moon finishing up in Aries. It's in the decan ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter's in Taurus, which is getting ready to conjunct. I think this week is really all about the buildup. I think it's all about the buildup. The buildup to Sun conjunct Neptune. The buildup of, to the eclipses, right? So we're going to get, of course, that first quarter square, which means that we are halfway to the full moon lunar eclipse that'll be occurring. So, like I said, this is all just kind of building up, building up, building up. And, when you have energies like this, sometimes days can seem a little bit mundane. Sometimes it can seem like we're kind of just going through the motions. But like I said, there's going to be pockets of potency kind of packed into different areas. Now, the great thing, of course, about a day like today is when that moon does shift into Taurus, it does ground out a lot of this energy, especially considering the fact that we do have now Mercury in Aries, which is definitely providing a bit of a spark. People were starting to think more forward. We're starting to think about springtime, what are we going to do in the astrological new year and these sort of things, right? So that's a positive thing. And then, of course, we have Venus in Pisces, which definitely wants to feel beautiful, wants to be the pearl inside of the clam, but it is heading towards Saturn. But at the very least, Venus is getting a bit of a break here. Venus has been going through a lot ever since its freaking retrograde in Leo. It's been going through so much. Like it retrograded in Leo, then it went into fall in Virgo, and then it went to Libra, but couldn't really feel at home because the South Node was there. Then it went into its detriment in Scorpio. And then Sag, was all right. Capricorn, and then Aquarius, So it's finally in a place where it can feel better. And yes, it will be with Saturn, but not the worst thing in the world, especially when you take into consideration that Saturn is exalted in Venus's home of Libra. So it's interesting how you have one of the benefics or the positive planets of Venus and one of the malefics or the negative planets of Saturn where they both fare well in Libra, which is all about relatability. It's all about how we communicate with each other. It's all about finding the balance in life, of course. You know, they both, in many ways, appreciate those same things. So, with them meeting up in Pisces, you know, I see this in many ways as like, how can we receive these higher spiritual matters or these deeper spiritual matters? How can we open up and receive these things? Receive the not so unseen, the not so obvious, if you will, right? So that's what we're kind of building up to when Venus will conjunct Saturn. Of course, like I said, this is going to be a little bit later in the month. Um, Venus will conjunct Saturn on the 21st, so that's going to come right after the Sun enters into Aries and Mercury conjuncts Chiron. So we still have a little bit of time to build up to that energy, right? So I feel like I said, this entire month is really about the energy that's building up. It's building up. It's going to be building up. And then, of course, it'll come to that full moon lunar eclipse on the 25th, mind you. And then, like I said, it's just going to be kind of a constant thing where things are kind of building up, building up, building up, right? So, you know, it's we are in an interesting world right now. It can kind of feel like we're going through the motions. It can kind of feel like we're trying to get some semblance of normalcy or some semblance of like a direction, if you will, and in a world that feels a little bit directionless. I will say, considering that we do have all this Pisces energy, and that is really, Pisces is super free flowing and it can go this way and that way. It doesn't really have a lot of direction. When we look at the direction energy, which is cardinal energy, we don't really have a whole lot going on here. We don't have any Cancer energy. um, Capricorn is just Ceres. Pluto will retrograde back into Capricorn, but we don't really have that. We only have the South Node in Libra. So what we're really relying on here is the Aries energy. So what we're relying on is the Chiron, is the North Node, is the Mercury, and the Sun, which will come there. So that's the thing about this. What we do have a good bit of course, is that we have some of this fixed energy, right, with the Taurus energy and the Aquarian energy. No Leo, no Scorpio. So it's not it's very much so out of the fixed signs. I would say Aquarius and Taurus are the more logic driven of the fixed signs, whereas Scorpio and Leo are the more emotional driven of the fixed signs. So we're trying to kind of logic our way through this, but like I said, this is fixed energy, so it's about our values in Taurus, and Aquarius, of course, is about how can we express our unique self and be a bit outside of the box, if you will, realize, just how unique we can be, or this can also be, of course, higher cosmic information that's coming through. So, yeah, when we're in a world that it feels a bit directionless, that feels like it doesn't have a whole lot of form to it, there is some form to it, but we're trying to logic our way through this. And then we do have some of this inspirational, motivational spark from Aries to want to move things forward. And of course, the moon finishing up in Aries today, and it's in the decan ruled by Jupiter. Yeah, we want to feel like we have some sort of vision for the future, right? We definitely want to feel like we have some sort of vision for the future. And I think once the moon conjuncts Jupiter, we will feel a bit better as well. I've been noticing that these moon conjunct Jupiters and Tauruses have been pretty nice. It's a nice aspect. It's sort of like this moment again where people become inspired. It's a moment where people can kind of actually feel more into the work if they're doing the work, or they're not really doing the work, then Jupiter is inflating on people's self-deprecation, because it goes both ways. Like Jupiter, now that's moving forward, it's going to expand, but expansion doesn't necessarily always mean the best thing or the most positive thing. It could expand upon your self-deprecation. It could expand upon your self-esteem issues, or it can expand upon, you knowing your value, living your value, acting on your value, and going from that place. Whenever the moon crossed over Jupiter while it's been in Taurus, it's done either one of the two. Now, of course, when it's retrograded, it's kind of deflating everything a bit, but now Jupiter's moving forward, so it's inflating things. you know, we still, of course, have the sun here in Pisces, so we are still very much so in what I call the astrological review period. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, this is a time where dreams are definitely very intense and weird. My dad just called me the other day. Well, I talked to my dad yesterday. He was telling me about some very, very weird dreams that he was having. And I myself had some weird dreams last night too. Like a part of my dream that I remember is that we're at like one of my old houses, right? Growing up, and there was like a bunch of cars in the like I came through like a weird building that was like in the backyard or something like that. And then I walked up the hill to the driveway from the backyard, and then there was like some cars there, including my car. And my car, I guess I had parked it, and it started like rolling back for some reason off the driveway, off like the side of the driveway, and it was very weird. But then for some reason, I just thought to put my hands on the back of the car and to move it. So without even thinking, and I didn't even think about it, I had like superhuman strength in my dream because I was able to pretty much move my car just by pushing it from the back, and I was able to like move it in either direction. It was very, very weird, very, very weird. But and then there's also something about my grandfather and tarot cards, and he got peanut butter on my tarot cards. I kid you not, this happened in my dream. Weird ass shit. Trying to logic your way into understanding these sort of things, it's like I said, it's been more intuitive. It's more intuitive, right? So, sun here, Pisces, it's going to spend the day at 22 degrees of Pisces. Just for shits and giggles, because like I said, there's not really a whole lot happening today. I feel like this moon coming into Taurus is going to help to kind of ground out some of this energy. And yeah, we are inspired to move things forward, and we're looking forward to the springtime. But we are still trying to kind of bring some sense of form to what is otherwise a pretty formalist time. So that's why there's like, do your best to kind of go with the flow, but also, be perceptive as well. Try not to push the envelope too much. Try not to try and force your ideals on things too much and what you think it should look like. But at the same time, don't just completely roll over and accept things, especially if you find that they are going in the direction that is, you know, going to take you out of that positive vibration, if you will. So that's the thing. This is definitely a balancing act for sure. This is definitely a balancing act. Just for shits and giggles, and I don't do this like every single day or whatever like that, but I want to read the Sabian symbol for this. It's going to be at 22 degrees most of the day. So I don't know why I'm being drawn to read this degree to you guys. I just am. So I'm going to read the degree for you guys, the 22 degrees of Pisces. Let's see. Present, share screen. Bam. Okay. A materializing medium giving us seance. This shows the ability or the need to pick up subtle energies and psychic clues in the environment. I literally just said this. I literally just said that this is more of an intuitive time, in that the energy is going to be more subtle. The materializing medium can receive radiations, frequencies, or vibrations that cannot easily be sensed by most people. You may be experiencing a surprising sensitivity and awareness to spiritual forces and energies. This can cause confusion, other times, enlightenment. Sit with any new impressions until you understand their authenticity or depth. Sometimes there is a need to free stuck or earthbound entities. This can show someone who can materialize things, make things happen just by thinking about or concentrating on them. Spiritual channeling, seeing things ahead of time, giving voice to spirit, messages from the other side, tarot readings, clairvoyance, and clairsentience, manifesting. False fronts or performances, making things up, using mind control to get a desired outcome, weird energies or people, quacks, imposters, fakes, delusional. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. I mean, the energies are definitely, the veil is very thin whenever the sun goes into Pisces. And the fact that we have 4 planets in Pisces means that the veil is very, very thin. Now that we have Venus here, it's super thin, right? So it's like, yeah, we can pick up on these more subtle spiritual energies. Now, of course, the one thing about this is that you do have a lot of fakes, you do have a lot of quacks, you do have a lot of people out there that do because they feel like they're going to get some type of clout, which I don't understand. And honestly, I feel like Venus conjuncting Saturn and Pisces is going to actually be a great moment for the spiritual community, because I think it's going to, in a way, legitimize a lot of people within the community that actually do this work. I think it's going to actually reward a lot of the people that are actually doing this work and aren't actually faking it. But it's going to reveal quite a bit, who actually is about it. Sun Neptune is going to do the same thing. But I think Venus Saturn is going to actually be the trigger point where it's like, are you really about it? Are you actually walking this life, or are you just putting on a performance? I think that we are kind of going through a bit of a contraction period within the spiritual community, because you're starting to see a lot of people drop off. You're starting to see a lot of people drop off and go to the more traditional routes of spirituality, which it is what it is. If that's what people need to do to make themselves feel better, or if that's what gives their life purpose right now, or helps them to make sense of things right now, cool. But don't go off spreading misinformation about the spiritual community that you just came from and start demonizing it, because you see that part too, you know. So, like I said, this is a time, as you can see, spirit is definitely speaking to us more right now, and but we have to be a little bit more intuitive to understand these things, to actually, receive these messages, if you will. Um, and like I said, I think it's in, and I'll just show the chart one more time just so you guys can see everything that is going on right now. I mean, like I said, we're kind of coming at it from a more logical standpoint because of the Aquarius energy and the Taurus energy. We don't have any Leo or Scorpio. And then even if we look at the mutable signs, which probably will be a little bit easier to pick up on these things, we have it's all asteroids. Vesta and Gemini, Black Lilith, Juno and Virgo, and Pallas Athena and Sag. Other than that, as far as like major planets that we feel on a day-to-day basis, it is Pisces. So it's like trying to explain, it's like trying to say, oh, this is a cup because it's a cup. It's like, well, what does a cup do? And that's kind of where we are right now. Leo, you're not supposed to be on the table. But Leo, get off the table. I'm really doing this in the middle of my video. Leo, come on. Get off the table. You're not supposed to be. That's like the only place you're not supposed to be on. Thank you. Yeah. So like I said, we have to come at it from a more intuitive aspect. Good thing is, I feel with this moon coming into Taurus, this is going to help to kind of ground out a lot of this energy. And grounding the energy is not a bad thing at all. I think it's good that, being inspired and motivated with this energy starting to move into Aries. Like I said, Mercury's there, the sun will be there in about a week or so. So things are kind of, shifting as far as that goes. And people are going to start to kind of have some semblance of a direction, and I think this moon coming here is going to help us to emotionally kind of ground things out. If we have too much energy, whatever like that, there we are kind of taking in, grounding can actually be very, very helpful. I know for me, one of the best things I do if I'm having like really bad anxiety or like having a panic attack is I actually will go outside and ground. Now, granted, fortunately, I don't really have as many panic attacks as I used to, but whenever the anxiety gets a little bit heightened and stuff like that, grounding is a great way to just, allow that energy to flow out. All that excessive electricity can just literally ground itself out, because you gotta think about it, these bodies are electromagnetic. So when you're super nervous and anxious, that it's like you're hyperactive. It's like you have so much electricity, it's so, yeah, you have so much electricity and you have to figure out, okay, what do I do? It's like, so you literally put your feet in the dirt and you ground it out. So the thing I say, the part about this And the great thing too is that when the moon with Uranus, which is like the ruler of electricity, if you think about it, it's in Taurus. So a lot of this energy is getting grounded out already. You know what I'm saying? So I think today could be, like I said, that can be a very positive day. It may not seem like much on the surface, but there's definitely a lot percolating underneath and in the hidden zones of the Piscean energy. Let's get into the cards. This deck is not the easiest to shuffle, I will say that. I did my best. I know I'm getting this one out a little bit late, so I apologize for that. All right, let's see what we got here. I have the Four of Pentacles in reverse. You have to know what to hold on to and what to let go of. You have to know what to hold on to and what to let go. Some of you guys have been holding on to super valuable energy that you can really help a lot of people with. The Four of Pentacles in reverse, I'm getting the feeling like, and this is, I'm speaking to myself, some of you guys have very awesome, valuable projects and creative potential that you have been holding back on, you've been procrastinating, and for some reason you're holding on to it because you think that holding on to it means it's going to crystallize, and you're going to, once you finally start to work on it, everything's just going to click. No, you got to actually go ahead and start working on it now, because as you're doing it, things will start to click because you're getting the experience, you're going through it, you actually are taking the step. It's like running the marathon in your mind is one thing. Actually running the marathon is another. There's the power of the mind. You know, it cannot be understated, right? So yeah, you can will yourself to do things, but until you actually get down and actually do the thing, then it's going to just stay in your imagination. It's just going to stay an idea. Now, this is Pentacles, so it has to deal, yeah, in many ways with our value and money and those sort of things and the sort of physical material thing. So, like I said, some of you guys, myself included, have creative projects, things you want to work on that you've been kind of just sitting on because you're waiting for the perfect moment to strike. But this Four of Pentacles in reverse is saying that now is the time to actually take some action. I had that followed by the Magician card. Oh man, are y'all ready for this today? Yeah, you have the power and magic to make it happen right now. There's no need for you to hold on and wait. Why would you hold back? Why would you hold back expressing the potency of your power right now and bringing that value to the world? Why would you hold it back when we need it now more than ever? And bottom of the deck, I do have is the Queen of Swords in reverse. When the Queen of Swords in reverse, she cannot rely on her intellect. She has to rely on her intuition. She has to rely on her intuition, which maybe she doesn't use as often because she is so smart. She uses her intellect. She is so smart. But when it's in reverse, it means that all of the avenues that she would normally take to solve a problem, none of them seem like they are going to work. Logic has gone out the window. So we have to rely on the intuition. We have to rely a little bit more on the emotion and what that is teaching us here. So that's the thing about this. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not a negative thing. It's just looking at things from a different perspective. That's the other part that we can see this. The Queen of Swords here is that we had to look at things from a different perspective. And I think, Venus shifting from Aquarius into Pisces is going to allow for that shift to occur. And I think, of course, once Venus also conjuncts Saturn, it's really going to kind of ground that out and really start to bring that home. Like I said, I feel like that's going to be a very major aspect of the month, probably one of the strongest aspects of the month. And, yeah, we will see how that one turns out. I have a couple of cards here. I literally just said some of you guys have creative projects that you guys have just been sitting on. Just seeing and reclaim your art. Just seeing and reclaim your art. I'm not even going to go into depth about that because this is the Answer is Simple Oracle, and I feel like if I go into depth on this, I'm not going to be doing it justice. So that is going to do it for your astrology forecast today. I hope that you all enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I definitely appreciate it. I trust that this message will assist you on your journey today. I love you all. If y'all would like to have a personal reading with me, beloved, y'all can follow the link in the description below to my website, jphoenix.com. And as always, y'all take care, stay blessed, have a wonderful Tuesday. I will see you all on the next video. Peace.